Welcome to the Neuroperformance Podcast with your host, Andy Murphy. Join us as we delve into the advanced high-performance tactics he uses with his elite clientele across the globe. Let's unlock a whole new world of business potential together.
So hello there, eight-figure thinkers. Hope you're awesome, and I really hope that you've loved the main section. I know there's a lot of content, there really is, but it's the longest section that we're gonna do really through the 8 weeks, because I wanted to make sure that you really understand that foundation, because it's like building anything, right? It's like building a house, like building whatever it is. We must have that solid foundation for you, because then we can build a solid structure. But if you rush through, not done the power up, you've not really taken notes, you've not applied this stuff, then it's up to you. You're going to get the results that you're going to get when other people are going to really, truly accelerate past that. So today, this section, love that image, right? 8-figure simulator. And the simulator is going to be the audio, the MP3, and you're going to love it, because it's not just an MP3. There's NLP techniques, it's hypnosis all the way through it. We've got different binaural beats sequencing through it. You're going to absolutely love it for sure. But to get the most out of it, what you need to understand is, the operating system. And that's why I've called it the 8-figure simulator, which is going to be the ones ongoing from level 1 and level 2 upwards. But I just need to give you a little bit of an insight, a little bit of a background, a little bit of an idea of what's actually playing in here, because it's going to make your experience of the simulator so much more deeper. And besides it being more deeper, my goal for you is for you to become a master visualizer, because the language of the unconscious mind is the visualizations through sounds and all the rest of it that we'll get into in a moment. And I'm actually going to show you in a few moments the building blocks, the actual structure of memories. And so this means that you're able to start tweaking and playing and changing the images, which means it's going to really get rid of patterns, it's going to accelerate your performance, and it's what we do. It's what we do at 8-Figure Thinker. And the sad thing is, most people, 99% of coaches and NLP practitioner and hypnosis and all the other people, they don't really truly understand how to master these submodalities, these building blocks, and really create change connected to your filter system and this mind muscle. They don't really get it. So you're going to. So let's keep going, because we're having a little bit of fun too. But this is really what I came up with. It's, imagine if you could gain complete control over your mind, emotions, and your peak state, which means you can always perform at a world-class level. It changed the game, right? And the way I've done this, I want to introduce to you something I call the control panel. And I developed this concept of watching this Minority Report. Do you know where he's playing with all the images and moving it around? Right. I want that concept to be how you start navigating and controlling your mind, because that's really what I do. I play, I tweak, I change colors and sounds and feelings and perceptions and beliefs, and I do that with my VIP clients, and I do that with myself, and you're going to learn how to do this too. Pretty cool? Cool. So I'm going to keep going, because I understand also that you want to get to the simulator, and there's been lots of content already in level 1, right? So this is really my 3 steps to neural net change. First of all, we always have to catch the pattern. In NLP in NLP really, it's called a pattern interrupt, okay? Might have heard that concept before? Good! Makes my life and your life way easier. But what we got to do is be able to start conditioning this into our conscious and unconscious mind, so it starts to become an automatic behavior of you catching and interrupting patterns. Because the other next step we've got to do is actually break the pattern. And that's where most people get stuck, because they go, oh, I'm feeling like this, or I'm doing this. Okay, beautiful. You caught the pattern, but now what? Then we're going to teach you over the levels to actually break this. And then what most people have no idea what to do is actually how to rewire it, right? So the pattern or belief or system or perspective of the world that you want. Make sense? So what we're going to start to develop, and today I'm going to show you a couple of these, but really in your mind over the levels, we're going to start to create dials and switches and things you're zooming in and out and all this cool stuff. But the main ones are going to be around what your focus is, the auditory, so audio, it could be audio digital, which means our self-talk, could be audio, auditory, which could be outside of us, could be someone else's voice. There's lots of different things that we'll get into. I'm also going to show you the zoom effect. And the zoom effect is pretty damn powerful because when we zoom in certain specific ways, it means that we're teaching our unconscious mind exactly what to focus on, right? And most people are focusing or telling the unconscious mind that they want to focus on the past or a problem. But with this submodality shift, the zoom effect, what you're going to find is that you're able to start getting in control of your mind. Which, the other one I want to teach you is the kinesthetic. The kinesthetic simply means emotion, it means feeling. And in the actual simulator that you're going to go into, it's about 15 minutes long. In fact, it is 15 minutes long. I know it is because it's recorded. We're going to really play around with this kinesthetic today. But I want to show you a little bit more so you can really get the full experience. Sound good? So, usually in the levels, you're not going to have this training, and this is just for level 1, okay? So the thing is, before we can even do those switches, you must get familiar with your unconscious automatic mind's operating system and how to really create and adjust and change the actual structure of the images in our memory, right? So remember what all this is about. So I'm going to really give you a little intro. So when we're born, our minds are like a blank canvas. They're completely blank. They really are. Now, if we start talking about epigenetics and DNA codes, then they're not blank, right? But let's just pretend for this scenario that they are. So your mind is like a blank canvas. Every time you have an experience, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. A path is formed. A piece of software, a neural net, a mind muscle, whatever you want to call it. We went through all of those things, right? So this path is formed. At the end of that path, there is a memory. That memory is built up of many, many different building blocks, right? So I'm going to get into that and show you exactly what those building blocks are in a few moments. But these building blocks are what I've said before called submodalities, and they're like small pieces of Lego that all click together to create the structure of exactly what that memory is, okay? So we can change these things, we can, for example, how many times you're thinking about something that's bad that's happened from the past and that image is big, bright, colorful, it's intense, you've seen it through your own eyes, right? Well, that's telling your mind or your unconscious mind that that's what you want to focus on. So it keeps repeating that pattern, which makes it harder and harder to release that trauma or that problem, right? So when we're able to understand this structure and understand that, as I said to you in the main class, we take in those 2 million bits of information through our 5 senses every single second. It goes through this filter, which is in your brain here, and then it goes through to the images, it changes your state physiology, goes back through this, and it affects directly your behavior, okay? So the internal sounds and external sounds. These are things that are playing in your head, right? So I want you to start paying attention to the images and the memories and the future memories and the past memories, and really start to get a grip and become really aware of what's going on, including the feelings, physical and internal, right? The smells, the tastes. Because this is a key thing that I want to talk about. there's a classic, it's something in NLP. I'm not trying to just teach NLP because I'm far from just teaching NLP, but the map is not the territory. It's called the presupposition of NLP. And what that means is like certain rules that we want to live by in life, right? And one of them is the map's not the territory. And what the heck does that mean, right? It means that like a snowflake, a fingerprint, there's not two views of the world identical. There's not. Because when we start forming unconscious patterns or we start integrating neurology or our nervous system, it starts to begin to happen in the womb, right? So if you've had chaos out, say for example, your mom and dad, or your mom or your dad or whoever you're with, right? They're arguing outside. And they're constantly arguing. You're in the womb, and guess what? You're already starting to make decisions about your experience because we're human beings and that's what happens, right? So the first thing that happens is we have this amygdala, right? The fight or flight response that you all know very well by now. So that fight or flight response starts to kick in even while you're in the womb. So if you've got danger or perceived danger on the outside because there's so much anger and chaos, then already before you've popped out, you are already seeing the world as scary, okay? So these things start to create different perspectives. Now, every time we have an experience, we make a decision about it. Whether it's conscious, whether it's unconscious, but you are making a decision about it. Those decisions start layering together, and this starts to change your filter, it starts to change how you see the world. Okay? The world is defined from your experiences and the decisions you make about it. It's true, right? Think of, I don't know, Oprah Winfrey, right? A few years ago, I didn't even care about Oprah Winfrey, but she's a badass the more I've looked at her, right? The more I've looked into her story. And her story is fascinating, from being in the most poverty-stricken environment that you could ever imagine, abused, raped, locked in attics. And the only way she knew a different world was from the books that she read, which changed the way she saw the world and the decisions she made about her life. So each individual person has such a unique experience of the world, just like a snowflake. From all the decisions, the experiences, there's none two the same. So why am I telling you this? Well, you need to understand this because your experience is very unique, but in the later levels, we're going to teach you to covert communicate and build rapport and do all this cool stuff. So you need to understand your job when communicating is to understand their model of the world, right? Your job for yourself is to understand your model of the world, right? And it really is a model because the map is not the territory. We don't respond to reality. We respond to our internalized map of reality. How we represent things are our interpretations. Interpretations may not be accurate, right? What do I mean by that? You, me, and some other cool people, we could all go out for dinner. And 2 weeks later, I interview everybody. So what happened that night, right? Every single one of us is going to have a different memory of what happened, right? And this could be, oh, the waiter was annoying, the waiter was amazing, or the waitress, right? Or the bill was too expensive, the bill was great, the food was good, the music was too loud, the chair was uncomfy, right? It smelled, it was too loud, it was too hot. Everybody has a different version of reality. So my question is, what's real? Does that make sense? What's real? Because if I thought this wall behind me was black and you thought it was red, but you 100% believed it was red and I 100% believed it was black, what's right? Who's right? So when you start to see the world this way, then it starts to create forgiveness for the things you've done in the past, forgiveness for other people, and forgiveness for anybody else who's about to come into your world. Because all maps are inaccurate, right? A map is not the territory. And what do I mean? If you have a physical map or a Google map, let's use Google in 2017, right? So Google. when you type into Google Maps and it gives you an accurate portray and you can zoom in on the street, that's cool, it's brilliant, right? You can see it, but is it truly the street? No, it's a representation of the street. And that's the same with your brain, right? Your reality is not reality, it's just a representation of that reality. Make sense? I hope so. So, this is what I want to get into. Submodalities, okay? The building blocks of your memories. They really are. And submodalities are, in NLP, are the fine distinction or the subjects of modalities. So visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, which is smells, gustatory, which is taste, and that are part of the representational system that encode and give meaning to our experiences. They are the building blocks of the representational systems which we code order and meaning to, right? And this creates our experience. So we're going to step into the simulator in a little bit, but I want you to give like a pre-frame to it. The first time you do anything is going to feel strange until your nervous system relaxes and you get used to the experience. It's the same here. Milton Erickson, who's the godfather of hypnosis, claimed that his best clients was one he had gone into trance with him 300 times, okay? So I'm not telling you to do this 300 times, but if you did, you'd be a damn master. But I want you to be kind on yourself and understand, just like listening to an audio book, you're going to create pictures in your mind and you're going to get used to guiding yourself around with the imagery. So this is how we're basically, it's a little system, you don't even have to think about this, this is just for you later to practice on your own, but the actual audio that I've created, I drop you into trance, which means what? That's right, we're just dropping brainwave frequencies. So we're going to close our eyes, you're going to sit still, and you can take those 20 rapid breaths, or you can 20 hold breaths, or 10 hold breaths. What I mean by a hold breath is that's a hold breath. So we breathe in through our nose, our diaphragm, our stomach goes out, we hold it for 2, 3, 4 seconds, we breathe out through our mouth, suck our diaphragm in, and we hold for 2, 3, 4 seconds. That is a hold breath. That is what I call a hold breath, right? It's my words. But what that means is that is going to really kick your nervous system into the right frame, the sympathetic nervous system. So we can do a trial. Should we do a trial? Well, maybe we do a trial, but I'll come back to this. Because what we can do is, maybe you want to try now. Let's just try it very, very quickly, because I want you to get into the main section, okay? So, as I just did these breaths right now, what would happen if you just started breathing this way for me, okay? That's it. And I just want you to count from 10 to 1. And as you do, you might want to begin to close your eyes now. That's it. And I just want you to breathe and pay attention to your breath as you count from 10 down to 1. And as you do, I want you to remember a time or feel what it feels like to be excited. Whatever it is you're excited about, right? Maybe it's something that came up recently where you closed the deal. Maybe it was going back to a kid where you scored a goal. What is it that comes up, the first memory that comes up to make you feel excited now? That's it. Just double that feeling for me. And as you count yourself down from 5, 4, you go deeper inside now. 3, 2, 1. That's it, nice and simple. And you're already going to find your brainwave frequencies dropped. Okay? So I just want you to pay attention to that image right now and just have a look around in there. Maybe you've seen it through your own eyes. Maybe it's black and white. Maybe it's color. Maybe it's a movie. Maybe it's a still picture. Maybe it's focused. Or maybe it's defocused. Is that focus steady or is it changing? These are all little things I want you to start paying attention to, because they start to build the foundation, right? These submodalities. Okay, so open your eyes. Good. Shake it off. And let me jump to the next bit. I'm flying through this for a reason. You can re-watch it and you're going to get so used to doing this stuff, it's not even going to be a thought in your mind, right? So the things I want you to, we're going to go back in and play with this stuff, but this is an introduction to you to submodalities and visual submodalities, okay? So you might have been in that image and you might have been absolutely grey, murky, saw nothing. That's okay. Guess what? My visuals aren't amazing. Some clients have crystal clear HD vision. It's amazing. I don't have that. But what I do have is the ability to feel everything, right? So if I said walk into a room, I'd see a blurry thing, an idea of walking into that room, but I'd feel what it feels like to walk into that room, okay? So what I want you to do is your best through this and understand, just because you aren't consciously aware doesn't mean it's not reprogramming your brain, right? Richard Bandler, who is the co-creator of NLP, you saw his quote from the main section, right? Actually knocks people out, and I don't mean knocks people out, I mean takes them unconscious in trance. So he doesn't want any conscious resistance, okay? I do things a little bit different. I want you to be consciously aware of what's going on so you get those aha moments as we're installing, okay? So what I want you to understand is you start playing with images in your brain. And again, if this is all complicated, just relax, it's all right. You've got the audio, you just have to listen to it, okay? I'm just giving you some feedback. So the visuals we could have, is it three-dimensional or flat, focused or defocused? Brightness, is it bright or dim? Location, the frame, is it unbound or is it framed? Is it a movie or still? Size or picture? Black and white or color? Distance, near or far? Are you seeing it through your own eyes? Are you seeing it yourself in a picture? What's the speed? Is it a movie? Is it still? If it's a movie, is it fast, slow, normal? Right. These are things you don't have to remember at all, but it'd be good if you did. But if you didn't, it's okay, because I just wanted to give you a snapshot, okay? So that's visuals. We could go further, right? Is it framed, panoramic, focused? You get the idea, okay? So when you go into these images in the actual simulator, what the cool thing is, you're going to start to be able to play and see the more intricate details of your images. So kinesthetic, I was saying I'm very kinesthetic, which means I feel things, right? And I can feel myself walking into that room. But we can go way deeper. And what I mean by that, we could look at the vibration. We could look at what the temperature is. Is it hot? Is it cold? We can look at the weight of you. Maybe you're holding something, or the weight of the actual image or the situation or the scenario, right? Is it heavy? Is it light? What's the location? Maybe what's the camera angle, right? The size, the pressure. We can look at the shape, the texture. Is it smooth or rough? The force. Is it strong or weak, right? The area. Is it large or small? Duration. We get the idea. So the kinesthetics, we can go even deeper. How fast are you breathing, right? How are you standing? How does it feel you're standing that way? What camera angles are your view? What's your posture? You get the idea. So we can go really deep. So as you're doing these visuals in the next section, you're going to be able to go a little bit deeper. And when I say double these feelings now, what you're going to be able to do is actually find the location in your body, and you're going to be able to look a bit deeper, right? What's the size? What's the weight? All of these things. Make sense? Look, you're going to listen to this probably one again after you've done the simulator. Remember, these levels, I've called them levels, and yes, I've associated them with weeks, but really this might take you 16 weeks to do. It's not a rush. It's about building muscle, and it's about getting this right. Does that make sense? Cool. So we can also go into auditory, the sounds, right? So we can look at the pitch. Is it high? Is it low? Whose voice is it? Is it your voice? Someone else's voice? Are the voices coming from the right, the left, inside, out of you? Verbal or tonality? What's the rhythm, the sound, the loudness, the distance, the tempo? Is it fast or slow? What's the timbre of your voice? You get it, right? And we can go on and on and on with these. The thing is, what I want you to start becoming aware of is all of this, but how those sounds are affecting you, how those voices are affecting you, okay? How do they make you feel? And how do they change the visual side, right? Because they do. And each one of them is connected to something else. And these are things that when I'm working privately with clients, and something we're going to show you in later levels, is by adjusting these, we actually change the structure of the neural nets, and we actually change the filter, and we actually change the filter, yes, there's the Raz. We actually change how you see the world, okay? So remember, we're doing all this because of this thing. I just want you to start to become aware of everything you are thinking, even if you are not consciously aware of it yet. Because it's playing in the background of your head, okay? So remember what's inside that filter, right? So your beliefs, your attitudes, your language, your values, and lots of other cool stuff. So these movies and these submodalities and all of this stuff, well, guess what? It could be around money, health, relationships, yourself, the future, the past, the scalability of this business, right? How money feels, your business partner, your clients, all of these things have their own map of reality, they have their own filter system, they have their own neural net, and they have their own submodalities. Right. If I was to teach you all the NLP stuff, like as an encyclopedia or a book, it'd be too much information. But the point in this 8-figure thinker is to give you the ability to learn this stuff and actually apply it instantly in your life, right? That's what's not ever been done before. That's what I want to give you. Sound good? Cool. So I'm going to let you jump into this in a second because I know you're going to love it. But there are a few rules, okay? The few rules are quiet environment, of course. I don't want you to be disturbed for 20 minutes, right? 15 minutes it is, but 20 minutes is good. I want you to have headphones in, and I want you to play full out. So the thing is, you might be new to this, that's okay, right? I was too. And your mind might drift off. That's okay. If it's drifting off to solve a problem, or to get a perspective change, beautiful. If it's drifting off and you start thinking about what to do tomorrow or what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, then I just want you to focus on my words. And by repeating my words in your head, you will come back in to the scenario, and you will be able to continue, and it will be installed in your head. Pretty good? Pretty good. Beautiful. So I'll see you in the next section, the simulator, and I know you're going to love it.
That's all for this episode of the Neuroperformance Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to stay connected, rate, review, and visit andymurphy.online to take the next step towards unlocking your pure potential. See you next time.